In today's video, we're gonna be looking at who owns Hackathon Inventions. It's me from my channel, and if you want to get more out of your life, stay tuned for more videos. Hackathons are events where people come together to create something in a short period of time. They usually last anywhere from 24 to 48 hours, and they're normally associated with software development. But it's not just limited to that. There can be other types of hackathons, such as data science hackathon or even business plan hackathons. So it doesn't really matter what industry you're in. The question is who owns the inventions created during a hackathon. The answer to this question depends on several factors, mainly the type of hackathon it is, whether it's hosted by a company or an individual, whether there is any prize money involved, and whether there is any intellectual property terms that need to be agreed upon before participating. But first off, let us start with the different types of hackathons, because this will have the biggest impact on who owns the final invention. If you're participating in a hackathon hosted by a university or an individual, then most likely the work you do during that time is going to be owned by you and you alone. The only exception to this is if you agree otherwise in a contract or an NDA or some sort of agreement. And so if you're participating in a hackathon and you don't want any surprises later on, always make sure to read the fine print. However, things change when a company is hosting the hackathon, because now there is a lot more factors that need to be taken into consideration. For example, if it's a public hackathon hosted by a big tech company such as Google or Microsoft, then any inventions you make during the event is going to be owned by you. Although the company may want to use your invention, they can't force you to sign over the IP rights to them. But this doesn't mean that you should automatically assume that all hackathon inventions are going to be yours. Many companies host private hackathons where employees are forced to sign NDA letters and agree that any inventions made during the hackathon will be owned by the company. Because of this, I strongly advise against participating in any hackathon unless you fully understand the repercussions of signing away your IP rights. On top of that, if there's prize money involved, the company hosting the hackathon may require you to sign over the IP rights to any inventions made during the hackathon. Even if the hackathon is public, many companies will put a caveat in their prize agreements where they state that if you want to take the prize money, you need to agree that they can use the invention for commercial purposes. And finally, the worst case scenario is when a company requires you to sign an IP assignment agreement before even letting you participate in the hackathon. This means that anything you make during the hackathon will automatically be owned by the company, even if you don't end up winning anything. So please be very careful when signing documents like this. There was a recent story about a Google employee who developed an AI tool during a Google hackathon, and Google tried to claim ownership of the invention. Thankfully, the employee had actually read the fine print and knew that he owned the IP rights to his invention, so he ended up quitting Google and joining a startup that was created around his invention. That being said, there are many examples of people giving up all IP rights to inventions created during a hackathon. Sometimes this is done unknowingly, but other times people are willing to do this in exchange for mentorship, prize money, or even just exposure. So if you ever participate in a hackathon, always make sure you know the following 3 things. Know: 1. Who owns the IP rights to any inventions made during the hackathon? Number 2. Are there any prize requirements that need to be met in order to receive the prize money? And number 3, can a company hosting the hackathon use your invention for commercial purposes? If you're ever unsure about anything, just ask a lawyer. It's better to be safe than sorry. Lastly, if you found this video helpful, hit the subscribe button for more content. And if you want to learn more about how to protect your inventions, I've linked a couple of videos below that you might find interesting. That's all for this video, and I'll see you guys next time.